For our weekly legal line with Jeff Hosford from Hosford Law Firm. Jeff, good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk a little bit, not necessarily about that case specifically, but to bounce off of that case. The people in the previous story were all facing 20 years. They were sentenced to 20 years in prison, but ended up in the house arrest program, which might lead to a lot of questions for people. How do plea deals work? How can someone facing that much prison time end up just on house arrest?
Well, obviously, it's up to different situations and different facts, and it's up partially to the victim, and it's up partially to the prosecutor, and it's up partially to the judge. Obviously, first of all, the defense, if they're going to plead guilty, they have to admit to doing what they did wrong, and then they have to go to the court and plead guilty, and then the court would sentence them. The prosecution typically makes an offer that they believe is fair in the case. The prosecution will take into the advice of the actions of the individual, what he or she may have done, say they admitted to it or they didn't admit to it, how long it took them to find out what was going on, and the seriousness of the crime. You then can next go into things like, what does the victim want? For example, if somebody embezzled $10,000, they may actually want their money back, and that may be the most important part to them. And if they get their money back, they're willing to help or let the victim or let the criminal get a lighter sentence because they became whole. So the victim gets some input, and that's especially important in murder cases and cases where somebody has lost a family member. And then the judge ultimately sentences them based on that information as provided by the prosecutor and the defendant. The defendant can tell the judge he's sorry and can tell the judge what may have led to the circumstances that caused them to put in that situation. The judge hears all that information, and then the judge sentences them. One thing that everyone needs to remember is the judge doesn't have to follow what the defense attorney or the prosecutor agree to. The judge can, in fact, sentence you to up to the maximum, whether you agree to it or not. So ultimately, all the parties have to be in agreement when it comes down to a plea bargain like this, and that's how it works out.
All right, a lot of negotiation goes on there. Jeff, thanks so much. We appreciate it.